The story begins with the narrator explaining that he lost his father when he was very young. His mother constantly told him that he was destined to become a shaman. She insisted that he possessed the qualities of one, that the spirits were protecting him, and that refusing this path would anger fate itself. Despite her warnings, she continued to push him toward that tradition, giving him poems, charms, paintings, and rituals to practice throughout his life. But he never accepted any of it. Instead, he rebelled. He focused on his studies, determined to create a different future for himself. And just like that, 10 years passed. Then tragedy struck. He lost his life in a traffic accident. Even in those final moments, he couldn't understand what his mother had meant or why she believed the spirits were tied to him. He never thought any of it mattered. But everything changed when he was revived. Confronted with the reality of the afterlife, he finally realized that his mother had been right. He understood then that people seldom believe in certain things until they experience them firsthand. Unfortunately for him, that understanding came only after his death. And now, he finds himself teaching a class, something he never wanted. By sheer accident, he has become an undercover professor at a magic academy. Even he still wonders how such a fate found him. The story then shifts. A character buys a train ticket and enters the train, making his way to cabin 403 in the fourth compartment. There, he finds an old man already seated, who greets him with a gentle smile before sitting in silence. Moments later, the narrator reveals that this old man is actually the same protagonist, disguised. The two characters introduce themselves, and then we learn that
But 2 weeks ago, I had disguised my identity and entered the imperial capital. On the train to the capital, I encountered Ludwig Cherish. I didn't want to talk to him the whole way, but he was like a chatterbox, constantly talking to me. He even claimed he was about to become a teacher at Theo and Magic Academy. Seeing such a young man already appointed as a teacher, I couldn't help but flatter him a bit. It seemed this guy really enjoyed my flattery. Just when I thought I could chat with him all the way to the destination, the entire train suddenly shook violently. We both quickly stood up. I guess this might be an attack. I felt uneasy. If my identity was exposed here, it would be terrible. Soon, we both left the compartment to patrol. Just then, someone broke through the window behind us. Ludwig Cherish and I immediately dodged. Ludwig Cherish protected me behind him, saying he would handle this thug. At the same time, the thug was already rushing at us with a sharp knife. Ludwig Cherish used basic lightning magic within 1 second. After knocking the thug away, he continued with intermediate magic. With a crash, the thug fell to the ground. I showed a fake surprise expression from behind, so powerful that thug was taken down directly. Ludwig Cherish slowly walked over, saying, "He wasn't killed by me. I just paralyzed his nervous system. He shouldn't be able to move now." Then Ludwig Cherish stepped on his chest and asked who the mastermind was and what the purpose of attacking this train was. The thug didn't answer, but kept laughing maniacally. Ludwig Cherish got angry. "I didn't tell you to laugh. Answer my questions quickly." Then the thug pulled open his chest with both hands, revealing a bomb strapped to his body. "You dirty people should all be eliminated." Ludwig Cherish lost his composure. This day is really unlucky. With a loud boom, a huge explosion went off in this car corridor. Fortunately, I felt something was wrong earlier and hid in a corner to avoid this explosion. I don't know what happened to Ludwig Cherish, but when I saw the scene in front of me clearly, I couldn't help but be shocked. I saw no human figure in front of me, and there was also a huge hole broken in the side. I slowly stood up. Ludwig Cherish might have been blown to pieces. Just then, I discovered that my disguise mask had also broken a big hole. This made me feel heartbroken. I had spent so much money to customize a fake face, and now it was broken. Then I tore off the fake skin mask from my face. This feeling was really terrible. How did I encounter all these unexpected incidents? Originally, I was a mercenary on this continent, living a miserable life every day. And every time I changed places, I would create a new disguised identity. I sighed deeply. I really can't deal with this. Of all times to encounter an attack, it had to be when I was on this train. I casually threw the disguise mask and my hand down. I began to mourn in my heart. "Rest in peace, Mr. Ludwig." However, what puzzled me was that the person who was completely paralyzed earlier could still detonate the bomb, which definitely wasn't something an ordinary robber could do. I guessed it should be those fanatic believers who wanted everyone to perish together. Perhaps that was their real purpose. At this time, the train security heard the commotion and came over. I turned to him and said, "Armed robbers attacked this train. It seems they targeted car 1. We'd better hide in the rear cars." The train security personnel was also panicking at this moment, saying, "I've already had other passengers. Evacuate to the rear. You should go quickly too." However, at this moment I rushed forward and firmly pinned him to the ground. He was confused, sir. What's this sudden behavior about? Do you think your poor acting can fool me? In the treacherous mountains, on a straight-running train, not only did attackers appear who seemed to have been waiting for a long time, but they even destroyed the train's defensive magic. This made it hard for me to believe. How could this be possible if internal personnel hadn't tampered with things? Seeing this, the man stopped pretending and stared at me fiercely. The next moment, a dagger popped out from his sleeve. However, I firmly grabbed his arm. Don't move. Your reaction speed is quite fast. Who are you people exactly, and what's your conspiracy? Seeing he wouldn't speak, I tied him up, preparing to hand him over to special personnel for interrogation. Just then I seemed to hear the sound of bullets being loaded in front. This sound was definitely unmistakable, because when I was a mercenary before, I heard these sounds every day. The next moment, I directly pushed the train security personnel forward. At the same time, several bullets penetrated the man's chest while I crouched down and dodged all the bullets. This piercing sound made me cover my ears. I didn't give him time to tip them off earlier. Could they have agreed on this beforehand? After his companions eliminated the man just now, they kicked open the door and walked in. Several people were stunned. What's going on? How is there still someone alive here? And what surprised them was that after enduring such fierce attacks, he was still unharmed. I slowly stood up and cursed at them. What are you showing off about there? And I'm not unharmed either. That scene just now almost scared me to death. The opponents were all ruthless people who didn't waste words and directly shot at me. Then my eyes narrowed. If you have the ability, then shoot. I bet there are no bullets in your guns. Just as I had guessed, they couldn't fire the bullets from their magazines at all, because I had just used magic to make their guns malfunction. The moment I displayed magic, a blue vortex appeared above me. This vortex directly scattered my magic. This made me feel bad. I didn't expect they really came prepared. The gang leader said at this time he was just guessing, but didn't expect there really was a mage on this train. So just in case, we made an anti-magic device. I wanted to turn around and run, but found that the back was also blocked. The thug was thinking, although he looks very powerful, that guy is probably only a level 4 mage. Otherwise, we would have received news that there was a mage on the train. Seeing this situation, I directly jumped out of the window next to me. The thug leader was shocked. He actually jumped down, quickly check if he's dead. A subordinate went to look and found no sign of me. He should have been buried by the heavy snow. Then he said to the boss, "Let's quickly go handle other matters. Don't worry about him anymore." But just as he was halfway through speaking, his head suddenly exploded. At this time the boss also reacted. He didn't jump down just now, but climbed up above. Everyone was surprised. Could he have used flying magic just now? But how could flying magic speed catch up with a train? The boss immediately gave orders. "You ordinary people staying here won't be effective at all. Quickly go to car 1 first, and if you want to deal with a mage, you can only use a mage to check and balance." Rat-a-tat-tat, 2 men directly shot bullets at the roof. When I heard the bullets penetrating the steel plates, I immediately ran forward. If I got hit by this thing, it would be no joke. The boss immediately changed plans here, sent several people forward to track that mage and must take him down. The moment they pushed open the door, a huge explosion went off in front of them. This scared them badly. That man actually set up such a powerful trap in just a few seconds. The boss leader was very shocked. What's going on? He's completely different from the mages I've encountered before, and his attacks are quite practical and effective. If I had to say, it feels like this person isn't like a mage, but more like a hunter or a mercenary. At this time, everyone in the car heard creaking sounds. This made the boss immediately feel something was wrong. His reaction was very quick. It must be this guy who separated the car and escaped. He should have discovered this earlier, and that guy had no need to entangle with their group. Now they could only watch helplessly as the front train drove away. Although the boss was very angry in his heart, he had already memorized my appearance, height, and weight. As long as we send someone to draw his portrait, even if he escapes to the ends of the earth, he will be killed by us. However, he soon felt something was wrong. He seemed to sense a very strong magical power fluctuation. He quickly turned around and found this magical power was right behind him from his perception. The next second his eyes widened in anger, cold sweat breaking out on his forehead. I saw myself standing behind him at this time with magic already condensed in my hand. I said to them, "Goodbye. You've lived long enough in this lifetime." When my hand pressed down again, a golden energy wave rushed toward them. That golden light scattered into countless rays when it approached them, and each ray of golden light made them feel terrified because this power was really frightening. The next moment I calmly raised my hand. These people in front of me were finally eliminated by me. Although I appeared calm on the surface, I still felt unlucky today in my heart. What surprised me even more was that there was actually a bald man standing in front of me. He said viciously, Why did you attack us? Aren't we pitiful? Our comrades were working hard for this world, and you actually killed them all." I laughed. "Is your moral compass already destroyed? It was you who attacked me first, and when I wanted to escape you wouldn't let me. Did you expect me to stand there and let you kill me? At this point it's useless to say more. You were the ones who wanted to kill me first, so I fought back and killed you. Stop trying to twist the facts." Then my expression changed drastically. "Since you've seen my true face today, you're destined not to leave alive. People like you, who I was prepared to let escape, but still chase after me to kill me, it's better to eliminate the threat early to avoid future trouble." However, to my surprise, just as I was about to attack, an ice magic directly shattered the man's body. I was somewhat shocked. Looking at the attack, I estimated they must have arrived. I saw at this time a white-robed female general slowly stepping in here, with incomparable majesty and seriousness, more like an experienced warrior. She asked if I was injured, saying that now all the thugs had been completely eliminated. Then the woman said proudly, "Because our Custody Night Order has arrived on the battlefield, any thugs will be eliminated completely by us." At the same time, on the other side, several thugs kept attacking forward, but no matter how they attacked, they still couldn't harm the man in front of them. The man rushed in front of them, with magic already condensed in his hand. He struck out fiercely, directly harvesting 3 lives, his movements very clean and efficient. He spoke into his earpiece. "Car 2 has been cleared. Car 1 has also been cleared at this time. All passengers' safety has been ensured." After receiving the news, the woman was extremely relieved. "It seems our deployment this time didn't have any comrades injured. Then we'll escort the passengers safely to the next station." 3 hours later, I arrived at Pilbur Station. The woman walked over at this time. "Are you all right? Do you want to go to the hospital for a checkup?" I said to her. "No need to worry, thanks to the Night Order's help. I wasn't injured. I was just thinking about some problems earlier." The woman introduced herself. "I'm Veronica Delavy, Deputy Leader of the Night Order." Seeing her so sincere, I was also prepared to reveal my disguised name. But before I could finish speaking, another group of people came from behind the woman. The newcomer was Lemris from the Pilbur Regional Inspection Office, who heard about the train attack incident at the Alet Mountain Range border, so he came specifically to take a look. Veronica confirmed the occurrence of this incident and claimed that all the thugs had been killed by them. Hearing this, Lemris was overjoyed. "This saves a lot of trouble. Thank you for the Night Order's hard work. However, there's one point that's puzzling in the report. Those suspicious individuals occupied the train too quickly. Even if mages were involved, they invaded the magical industrial train too easily." This also reminded Veronica, indeed, it seems to be exactly like this. So they suspected that it was very likely that someone inside the train also participated in this attack. After thinking for a moment, Veronica made a judgment. "What you say makes sense. Quickly check the personnel list of the entire train." After reaching an agreement, they prepared to first confirm everyone's identity, then let them go. Then Veronica also went to help and said to me, "As long as you tell the truth about what happened here, there won't be any problems." I smiled slightly. "I will naturally tell the truth. Absolutely won't tell a single lie." But in my heart I felt that big trouble was coming because my identity and my appearance completely didn't match. First, my previously disguised identity as Gerald had no problems. The ticket was also purchased through official channels. I could confidently say I boarded this train legitimately. But the problem was that I was now showing my true face, which didn't look like a 40-something uncle at all. If my identity was exposed during the investigation, what awaited me might be the gallows, and outside now there were all police and knights. I had no way to escape at all. Plus that deputy leader's cold ruthlessness toward evildoers. Although she was all smiles just now, I had no doubt that the moment she discovered I was suspicious, she would cut me down. Just when I was panicking, someone asked if I was okay. "You look a bit nervous, what's wrong?" And he was about to confirm my identity. A train attendant nearby took out everyone's tickets, feeling that ticket 403 was fine. He looked at the information. 403 has 2 passengers. One is a 25-year-old male Ludwig Cherish, and another is a 40-something male Gerald. But where did the remaining person go? I started acting, speaking in a sad yet calm voice. After I was caught in the explosion during the attack, the train happened to be passing through the Alet Mountain Range. At that time, he should have fallen to the bottom of the cliff. The prosecutor's sinister gaze stared at me deadly, as if trying to see through my thoughts. But the more he looked like this, the more nervous I felt. At this time, Veronica rushed over. "You don't need to investigate that person, because he's absolutely impossible to be a suspect. Just before we arrived, this man was already fighting with those people. If he was an accomplice of the criminals, would he need to do this?" Hearing this, the prosecutor nodded. "I see. So you're actually a hero of this train. Then I was indeed somewhat rude earlier, Mr. Ludwig." After hearing his words, I was somewhat stunned. Did he mistake me for Mr. Ludwig? Then they were also surprised to discover that Mr. Ludwig was coming to Theowen to take up a position. When they looked at me again, their gazes were full of fervor. To have such high achievements at such a young age, truly remarkable. I smiled slightly. Since this was the case, I would go with the flow and admit it. Then I stood up and greeted them properly. Just as you said, I am the teacher who will be taking up a position at Theowen Magic Academy. I'm Ludwig Cherish. Although it's a bit thick-skinned, this is indeed the disguised identity I just thought of. After arriving at the station, they even personally escorted me off the train. They kept wanting to personally send me to the academy. I told them not to go to such trouble. I'll go to the academy myself. But what I was thinking was, it wouldn't be convenient to go with you. Wouldn't I be directly exposed when we get to Theowen? Then, to get rid of their entanglement, I lied that I still had some private matters to handle, so you don't need to mobilize so many people. Miss Veronica, although we didn't interact for long, I'm glad to meet you. We'll meet again if fate allows. Veronica was also very excited, Mr. Ludwig. If we're destined, we'll meet again. After I left, Miss Veronica couldn't help but be surprised in her heart. Only 25 years old, yet able to teach at that school. Truly a young genius. He should at least be a fourth-order mage. I walked out a distance in extreme panic. I finally successfully disguised my identity and escaped. Although I felt somewhat apologetic in my heart, I really owed it to Mr. Ludwig's fortune. What made me feel fortunate was that this world's photography technology wasn't very advanced. It would be hard to distinguish the differences in our appearances just from photos. I thought the crisis situation should be over. I must temporarily hide, then create a new identity. But before one wave subsided, another rose. I hadn't even prepared to find a place to stay when someone called out to me again. After hearing him say Mr. Ludwig, I turned to look in the direction of the voice. The man was a white-haired butler who had just heard me chatting with the Night Order people and learned that I was Ludwig. So he greeted me. The butler smiled kindly. He was very worried about your safety after hearing about the train attack. So he immediately came here to pick you up, so please get in the car now. I'll take you to Theowen Magic Academy. I stared at him with a black line on my face. You dead old man, your timing really isn't good. And he doesn't seem to have recognized that I'm a fake. Then I took the butler's carriage to Theowen. During this period, I kept thinking of countermeasures. But no matter how I thought, I couldn't think of a perfect strategy.